Alright, good evening everybody. Today is Saturday the 1st of December 2012. So that would make it 20 days till the end of the world, supposedly. 24 days till Christmas, 30 days till New Year's Eve, 31 days till New Year's Day. But for me, 6.5 months until Man of Steel is released in June 14, 2013. So yeah, really psyched for that. Anyway, so here we are, the last chapter of the detective story arc, Smallville season 11, as you can see there. So it is chapter 12 for detective, but chapter 24 overall for all the chapters put together. Solid ending, really well done. You know, obviously this particular story arc, detective, as you can guess, sees Batman arriving in Smallville for the first time, and first him and Superman go toe to toe against each other. We find out that he knows a lot about Clark and who he is and how his powers work and how he can actually weaken him as well. His suit, his bat suit in particular, can manipulate red, yellow sun radiation, so he knows pretty much all the ways to defeat Superman should the need ever come to that. But he's chasing Joe Chill, and who met an untimely demise. Joe Chill is the man who was responsible for murdering his parents when Bruce Wayne was a young boy. So he's after Joe Chill. He's been working with Inter Gang. They break into Iron Heights, I believe it was. I think it was Iron Heights or Strikers Island, I think, to try and get some information from Bruno Mannheim. That didn't really work out well for Bruno in particular. Then we found out that Victor Freeze, obviously Mr. Freeze, has been working alongside a new villain known as Prankster, aka Oswald Loomis, who's been working with Victor, as I've just said, I think. And we find out that Loomis has actually been copying Winslow Shot, aka Toyman's inventions, basically, and it almost made Superman think that Toyman was behind everything that was going on regarding Joe Chill and Inter Gang, when it actually was in fact Oswald Loomis, because Lois even went to speak to Shot at Strikers, and he's basically said, well, I've not gotten out, I'm still in my cell, kind of thing. So anyway, so all that is going on, and you've also got Chloe, who has met her mirrored self from Earth 2, who unfortunately died. So her and Oliver have been trying to get their head around that. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of that particular side of Smallville later on, hopefully in the new story arc, Haunted. Lex and Tess, it all comes to a head in this chapter, especially between Lex and Tess. But anyway, let's just crack on with this particular chapter. Sorry for going off there, just to explain where we are so far with the current arc anyway. So anyway, as I say, from the back end of last week, Victor Freeze's suit has been overloaded by Loomis, so it's caused a sudden instant freeze in Metropolis. So Batman has intervened from Green Arrow. It's quite funny actually, because Batman comes in and he says, Green Arrow's like, what, thermal armour? And then Batman's like, well, better than a boxing glove duct taped to an arrow. You got to feel for Oliver sometimes. So anyway, so Batman intervenes, stops Freeze's suit from overloading. Then he tries to get in touch with Nightwing, finds out that there's no contact from Barbara Gordon or Lois Lane, so he realises that something's wrong on Leviathan, his hidden boat, as I would like to say. If you remember from last week's, at the end of last week's chapter, Loomis was hacked into a couple of drones, fired a couple of missiles onto Leviathan, where Lois and Barbara were being surrounded by bad guys. So Superman's on his way to save them. Lois and Barbara pretty much hold their own, which was pretty good, very solid. And so just in the instant when they're about to try and save themselves, Superman comes to the rescue. And what I love so much is just the dialogue between Oliver and Bruce. He says here, I have never seen anything like this before. And Oliver's like, well, can't say I'll ever get used to it. And it's just basically in response to what Superman just did there, lifting up the boat. So they're both very much in awe of what he's just done, kind of thing. I mean, you know, he's a superpowered alien, for heaven's sake, so they still can't get their heads around it. Anyway, whilst that crisis has been averted, we go back to see Lois talking to Superman while he's still up in the air, because if he gets near her, it will make Lex think that there's something more between those two than there should be, because obviously the radiation is still on Superman. Lex is tracking his movements. Superman pays Gotham City a visit for a specific reason. Well, two reasons, but one of them was for another reason as well. We get a few flashback moments between both Superman and even Bruce Wayne at some point as well. Very, very interesting. I mean, Bruce does talk about Joe Chill quite a bit, how he changed his life and all that sort of stuff as well. Really, really intense and emotional right there. So that was pretty good. I thought that was really, really good to have that in there. But the other reason why Superman went to Gotham was to find out what happened to the power cells in Freeze's suit, and what he does with it. It's amazing. Chloe drops a massive bombshell to Oliver, which I didn't expect. I'm still a bit miffed by it, but to be honest, that's how the nature of the story has been going between those two. But how that's going to play out as time goes on will be very, very interesting. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that one. So that'll be very, very interesting. But as I say, the end of the chapter, the end of the story arc, very, very well done. Lex is let's just say he's going to find a way to break into Tess's psyche. That's all I'm going to say on that. But that's the end of Detective. And I even sent a tweet to Brian Miller yesterday after I read it, and I basically said that it was a solid ending, and it had everything that not just a Smallville fan could ask for, but a comic book fan as well. It did have everything. You've got the action, you've got the emotion, you've got the the quirkiness of the dialogue as well. You've got the superheroes delving further into their how they become who they are, all that sort of stuff, and it's just brilliant. And the relationship obviously between the likes of Oliver and Chloe, Clark and Lois as well, it is just amazing. So as I say, it had everything. Fantastic. So solid ending. Well done again to everyone involved. Can't wait to see what Haunted brings, which sees the return of a certain speedster, aka Impulse. I'm sure I've said that already a lot of times anyway. So yeah, that I think is back in 2 weeks. So next week will be the print issue for Detective, the final print issue for the Detective story arc, and then a week after that sees the return, and then we'll get on to Haunted. So looking forward to that, and I shall see you all in a couple of weeks' time then. Bye bye.